welcome back to our channel. My name is Shay. I am a full-time reseller on Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari.
I'm Tyler, still a part-time seller on eBay, Mercari, Poshmark.
And today's video is going to be a things we wish we knew before I was a full-time reseller.
Yes, so this is going to be a bit of a viewer request. Before we get into anything specific, I do have a shirt. Let's talk about it, which is perfect because one, we're talking about what we knew, and two, who doesn't like tacos? I mean,
now, if it was Tuesday, it would be perfect.
Oh, God. Oh, why did you say that now? Why did you say that now?
Anyways, so yes, we are going to be talking about things we wish we knew. So we got a message from a lovely watcher of the channel and a friend of ours who has been following us for
probably
ever.
Since the beginning, yeah.
Yeah. They are amazing, and I'm going to throw the message on the screen somewhere around here, but essentially what they told us was that they were watching an older video of ours, which I can link to you guys, and it was telling our story of how we got into reselling, how we became full-time, all the stuff that happened that led up to it, and I mean, it's a doozy, right? So, I mean, I am not someone that says that I did part-time for a few years and got to the point where I felt comfortable, and no, I knew nothing.
Yeah, it's kind of, it was, okay, this is what you're doing now, and go. Yes,
so watch that video if you want to know exactly how that all played out. But I think now we have been doing it for a while. I think I've been full-time for, I mean, about 2 years approximately. There's a little bit of caveats there, but irrelevant. But about 2 years. And I think I can kind of give some insight. And I know that in that message, they let us know that they are also looking to go full-time with this. So I really hope that it's helpful.
I'm hopeful that your wisdom and some other people's wisdom, which we sought out for this video, can help someone make that decision for themselves and take the plunge to go full-time.
Yes, so that little hint there, if you don't think that you can learn from us because maybe we aren't as big sellers as you guys are, or you think that, you know, our model isn't something that you're interested in, there are people in here who have different models than us. Some are bigger sellers than us. And I think you will find them useful. So make sure that you're staying for the whole video so you hear all of the insight we have to give. So do you want to get started?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one is from us. And it is, wish that we knew that there was more than just clothing to sell. So when I started reselling, I went into clothing. I actually heard about it from Instagram. Somebody told me about Poshmark and that you could resell clothing. I actually think my first item that I sold was makeup, but I really kind of fell into the clothing category. Now, I'm not a fashion person. I knew nothing about clothing. And it was a hill. It was a hill, okay? It definitely was a hill.
There was definitely a learning curve for both of us. I remember thinking when we first started, we're never going to find free people or anthropology, and it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
Because we started there and it was such a hill to learn for us, we didn't allow ourselves to expand. We had so much to learn in that clothing category that in order to be successful in that space, we really had to focus. But we really didn't look outside of that to see what else there was. We were introduced to, I guess, 2 new categories is kind of what we've expanded to now. So you'll see DVDs and video games, which is one category, and shout out to Resell Dojo for that because everything I've learned has been from their channel. So if you're not following him, you should be. And then we also expanded into plushies. Now, the main YouTuber that I watch for that would be Cajun Reseller. But we've expanded into that, and both categories have been amazing.
Oh, yeah. The 10 out of it is so good.
Yeah, money, sell-through rate, and just fun. Like
ease of the transaction, too. A lot of the times, video games, DVDs, it's a no-hassle transaction. They pay right away. You send it out, 10 out of 10 recommends.
Yeah, and honestly, limiting yourself only hurts you. So while I think it's important for you to really learn the categories you're doing so you can be the best you can be at those categories, I also think it's important to be able to be aware of more things. I mean, we have a limited amount of thrift stores near us. So to say that we're going to just kind of keep going and keep going and keep going to find more things isn't realistic. We need to be able to find more on the trips that we go.
I mean, part of that is even in the category that we have. Don't be afraid to take a chance on something new that you haven't seen before or you aren't entirely sure on. That's how you learn. If you are always learning, you're always going to be improving. And
right.
that is an important thing regardless of the category, but it helps not to limit yourself right out of the start. by not at least taking a look and seeing what you can find.
Absolutely. Okay, so the next one is a guest of ours. So we're going to read to you exactly what they said, and I'll roll some clips from their YouTube channel so you guys get to see them if you don't know them already. And I will also link their channel down below so you can find out more about them. Go ahead.
So this is MurrayedLife.
Yes.
Hey, okay, mine would be, I didn't realize I needed so much room to store things. I had an antique reselling business prior to reselling clothes, and we had a couple warehouses to store things, so space was never an issue. Now I have 2 bedrooms in my home that are filled with clothing and everything else that goes into reselling, and I'm thinking of making my large sunroom into another room. So I carry around 1,000 available items, and I find it shocking how much room I need to store all of those items. That's something I didn't think about prior to reselling clothing, and it takes over your home. And facts, like we're going to show our office.
Yeah, you want to show it? Let's go. So as you can see, this is just the inventory that we have put away. This is not even accounting for the not put away inventory that is in that side of the room.
This is a very carefully curated, staged photo or video of her office.
Instagram versus reality?
Yeah, so there's buckets everywhere along this wall, up to like 7-8 feet tall.
There's a dress rack behind you.
Dress rack. There's shoes on the door, which you can't see. A pile of clothing that is carefully out of frame.
Yes, over there. But yeah, so what MurrayedLife said is absolutely true. So if you are going into this full time and you haven't accounted for the space you're going to need, you absolutely should. Now, I know some people do storage units and all that type of stuff. We are lucky to be able to have an office where I can store everything in-house. I don't think I would like having it elsewhere just because people ask for different questions and all that kind of stuff, and you have to pull it. But yes, we're very lucky that we have this space. But I have approximately 775 items listed, and it's
multiple rooms in the house. It's not just her office. There's piles and other bins out in our common areas.
I don't check out. But yeah, so this will take over your home. So one, I hope that you have a supportive spouse, or if you're living with parents or roommates or whatever you're living with, I hope they're supportive because it's gonna infiltrate their living space too.
The space creep is real. Like it just hits you out of nowhere. You are like, oh, I only have a few items. Bam, 700 items.
So thank you to MurrayedLife for that one. That is definitely something that we also wish we had known.
Oh God, yeah, so many clothes.
Yes. So make sure that you're aware of that. Okay, so moving on to the next one of ours is know your numbers. And now this one is more yours, right, Finance Man?
Yeah, so I think it's more to do with just have a general idea. It's not having everything calculated down to the penny that's important. It's knowing just quick math in your head at the store. So if you buy something for $5, you want to sell it for at least $20, $25. If you buy something for $8 to $10, you want to sell $40, $50, ballpark, hopefully more. But it's just having that running total so that in your head you're always spending significantly less than what you're selling for. And just keep in mind that you're going to have a little bit of wiggle room for offers and things like that. And then going back and looking at the numbers periodically also helps to make sure that you're on track.
Yeah, so for me, the numbers that matter aren't necessarily just the numbers of like what I'm spending versus what I'm making, but also like my sell-through rate. That's something that I really didn't start calculating until I was, probably a full year into it full time. I didn't quite understand it. I actually got a breakdown from one of the bigger YouTubers and found out that it's actually pretty inaccurate. And I thought that when I did the math myself, but I figured they're really big YouTubers, so it has to be real. But then I broke down to him why I thought it was incorrect, and he's like, you're right, it is wrong. That's not right. And then once I realized how to actually do it, I started running the sell-through rate a lot more. I also do a sell-through rate on eBay where you just simply type in what you're looking for, and then you look at how many are sold, and then you look at, you look at how many are listed, and then you look at how many are sold, and what you want to see is that the ones that are sold far outweigh than the ones that are listed. This is easier, of course, in the media category and things like that, where you can scan a barcode and it's exact. But you can still do it with clothing when you're trying to find pieces, especially with style numbers, to do that. So I do think that's really important to be doing. And I don't think it's something I was doing a lot when I started, but it's definitely improved my business. Now, moving on to one of our other friends.
Yes. Well, this is all you. I have I have no real connection to the reselling community other than through you.
So this is from Denali, who is Elduchothrift. And I've been following her for a very long time. Love her channel. And she is probably one of the easiest to talk to resellers.
I think the one thing that I wish I knew before I started to resell is that you don't need all of the equipment or supplies that you think you need. All you need to start a reselling business is a camera, a window with good lighting, and some free inventory from around your house or from family and friends. I thought I needed a fancy light box, a thermal printer, pretty poly mailers, a huge backdrop, a mannequin dress form, and lastly, I thought I needed all the brands that people mention in the haul videos. The truth is, you need none of those, and when you first start reselling, you should begin by using your smartphone to take good, well-lit photos. The inventory you sell should be anything that doesn't cost you money. Liquidate from your household belongings. Just downsize a little bit. Utilize the USPS free shipping supplies. Still do that. That's 10 out of 10. Like, always take the free stuff. And if you need poly mailers, then you should buy inexpensive white plain ones for first class or things that USPS doesn't cover. You don't need a thermal printer, and if you don't have a regular printer, you can print labels at the library or Staples, any place like that for low cost. Don't invest a ton of money in your business before it's real money-making business for you. All of that stuff is icing on the cake that comes later. Even worse, you later find out all that stuff you blew your money on, you don't even really use.
Yeah, so it's funny because I absolutely thought this. Now, when I started, I actually got into this with another person that I met on Instagram. And while they were super nice and super helpful, they were also more of a realist where they believed that nobody can make money at this. And they kind of told me that I wasn't going to be able to do this as a full-time thing. And because of that, I thought, okay, well, that means that I have to go hard. I have to like get all the right things. I have to have all the right equipment. Right. So right there in my corner over there is a mannequin. Now, I bought that right at the start thinking I have to have a mannequin because it makes it look more professional. It looks good, right? Yeah. I never use this thing. First of all, I hate taking clothes on and off of it. I'm terrified that it's going to rip things because it's like a velvet or something.
It's a very tacky material that clings to everything, and like you will, if you touch it, you can't not touch it. Like you're stuck to it at that point.
Yeah, it's awful. I mean, also it comes undone from its base all of the time. It's clunky to move around. There's no good place to put it. It's just not good.
Yeah.
So I use a hanger on a wall where a picture used to hang. That's what I use. I do have a ring light now. I didn't have one forever, but I do just because the lighting in our house is terrible. It's basically yellow.
Well, it's bad window angles and all of that. It doesn't work very well, so we put a little bit of time and effort into that, but that came well later.
Yes. We don't have a thermal printer. We use a very regular printer. I happen to have one because my previous job required it because I worked from home. So we use that. We use all the free USPS supplies. The only things we pay for are teal poly mailers for like first class stuff that isn't covered.
Or teal padded that is media mail for DVDs, things like that. You have a white piece of whiteboard from Home Depot.
From Home Depot for my backdrop for the shoes and flat lays.
Yep.
Yeah. So we all have fancy things. If you can think of a fancy thing that you think we might have, I bet you we don't. So
we finally got shelves to store the inventory like a week ago.
Yeah, so like look at us go. We're big time now. But yeah, so you don't need the fancy stuff. And anything that people are telling you are must-haves for reselling, I mean, they're probably getting like some kind of kickback is all I think.
It's either a want or a luxury item, and it's kind of like, well, it's nice, but you'll get by.
Yeah,
I mean,
you will absolutely get by. And if there is questions that you guys have that you want to know, like, is this something that I have to have before I start? Leave that in the comments because we would be happy to let you know if it's something that we currently use or if it's something that we did use and we
outlay originally. And that's one of the things that I thought when we went into this starting was there's not a whole lot that you have to put down on the line. You're not putting $10,000, $15,000, dollars on the line like LuLaRoe. To go back to one of our other videos, shamelessly take pot shots at LuLaRoe. But no, it's go to the store or liquidate from your house. Try to take as nice photos as you can. There are free apps to help you with that, and just see what happens. Like, you don't want to put money into something if you don't know if you're going to get money out of it.
Absolutely. Okay, and then our final point is cross-listing is key. So when I started, I was following a few people, and the kind of consensus that I was getting from the people I was following was that you really want to learn the platform you're on before ever expanding. And truthfully, you don't need to expand, because if you become a master of that platform, you're gonna like rock it, right? That's, to me, inaccurate. I think that if you have a big enough following, you can rock any platform. You could just run your own website because you have a funnel of customers, right? But if you don't have a big following and you're doing this by the platforms, one, look at the platforms that have the most users. It's not Poshmark. So
No, it's
eBay
eBay.
and Mercari actually beat them for the amount of monthly users. So that might shock you. But also, it's important that you're diversifying where you're putting these items, because you've already gotten them purchased. You already have money into them. So you want to get as many eyeballs on them as possible. I do think it's important that you do learn the platforms you're on and you take that time. You don't just like pick 10 platforms and throw it everywhere.
No, certainly, it's better to cast a targeted wide net than just throwing it out there hoping for some success. You can't just throw a net into the middle of the ocean and catch fish. You have to use a wide net, but know where the fish are.
Yeah, I definitely think that's fair. So I think that if I had been cross-listing at the beginning, which I don't think I cross-listed for maybe the first year, and even when I started, I did it very slowly, I would have made more money. I would have learned eBay way faster, because it took me far too much time to learn eBay. And I wouldn't have taken as much time to cross-list everything. So I think it's really important that if you're starting out, especially if you're going full-time, remember that you do have more time in the day than just to list on one platform, unless you're listing like thousands of items in a day. So take the time to learn a few platforms at a time. Like, I only do 3, and I like the 3 that I do, but make sure that wherever those eyeballs are that you want on those items, that you're there.
I think that is kind of the unspoken thing when they say focus on and understand a platform, is that they've already spent the time to learn all of the platforms that they're on. And while it's helpful to learn one at a time, you don't want to limit yourself because certain brands sell better on Poshmark versus eBay, and some brands, soft surroundings, sell better on eBay. Same with Eileen Fisher. So knowing where to put things and getting it in front of the right audience only helps you.
Absolutely. So anyways, that is what we have for you. I do really hope that this is helpful for you, and I do hope that if you are looking to start your own business and you're looking to get into this and do this full time, that these type of tips are useful to you, and that you guys are comfortable reaching out to us if you have any questions. I'm always willing to answer questions on Instagram. I do leave that link down below, and I can help you with anything, whether it be, what I think a reason that an item might not be selling, or whether it be, what tools do I use? Like, whatever it is, make sure that you reach out to me, because I'm happy to help. But that is everything we have, and we'll be back really soon with a new video.
Thank you for watching.